your time on this Wednesday evening. I know for a lot of you it's getting late in the evening, and so we'll definitely make the most use of your time here tonight, and you'll like it because this actually may be one of the shorter calls. So you're welcome ahead of time, because as we all know, if you know me at all, I can get sort of long-winded, and so if I don't try to stick to a plan, we're all screwed, and we'll be here for a long time. So for those of you, before I get started, how many of you, this is a return trip through Mastermind training in this group? I see Lisa, I see Brian. Who else? Do I have anybody else? All right, very cool. Greg, of course. So anyway, so the thing about this, guys, is those of you who have been through this kind of know what to expect, but then you kind of don't either, because I'm not going to be doing the same stuff I did last time. We're going to be talking about different things. We're going to be hitting things because times have changed, not only in our business, but in our world in general. And I think so many times if I go back and still continue to try to teach on the same stuff that we did last year, it's totally not pertinent and not relevant to what we're doing this year. So that being said, I don't want you guys to feel like, oh, I've been through this before, I can tune out on this part. Now, I may regurgitate some material again, but it's, so don't ruin my punchlines if I tell a joke or anything like that. But better yet, just mute everybody and I don't have to worry about it. I'm just kidding. But
hey, Robert, can you start by just telling everybody like who you are and your background and stuff? Because not everybody probably knows you.
Send them in here.
I was totally getting there, Greg.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. So no, I would definitely will. I definitely will. So for those of you who haven't gone through one of these or don't really know me, because there are quite a few new faces here. My name is Robert Hudgens. I'm one of the founding coaches for Team Beachbody. I was in that original group that went through the founders meeting back in 2006, and was chosen, to be one of the first 41 that started this company, now known as Team Beachbody. And it was myself along with my wife, and I got started in this thing as a customer. Okay, just like probably many or most of you guys did. I did P90X. I did it right when it first came out. I actually came across it on the internet by accident and ordered it, much to the chagrin of my wife, and because she thought I was wasting my money, as I kind of did at the same time too. And back then, I don't know if you guys remember, but back then it was like $250, $300 for P90X, because you got the workout programs, which were like $250. You had to pay like another $50 for the goofy doorway pull-up bar that didn't work in my house, so I ended up selling it. But all these different types of things, and so it was really expensive. But I knew that if I was going to try to change, I had to change something. And I was trying to go to the gym. Melissa, my wife, was actually teaching aerobics at the gym so that we could get a discount on that gym membership, because I'll tell you things along the way about where we came from and what our life was like back then as we get further along in here. But let me just say that I had no business spending $250 to $300. And so that being said, I was determined, because not only did I kind of have this thing in the back of my head, like, does this stuff really work? But my wife was like going, that stuff's not going to work. And I was going to prove her and myself wrong. So I stuck to it for 90 days and had ridiculous results. I lost like 8 inches off my waist and 17% body fat and all this other stuff. And I kind of became poster child for P90X early on, and was very active on the message boards. And it was through those message boards back before Facebook and everything like that Carl used to troll, and he would see people who were coaching other people. And myself, along with people like Mark Griggs, Tracy Morrow, Doug Fitzgerald, a lot of these people were on helping those folks. And it was through that Carl found out who I was and invited me to come to this founders meeting, because they wanted to start this side of the company, because they had the sales channel sewn up. I mean, they were doing great with their infomercials. Things were rocking and rolling. They were making millions and millions of dollars, though nobody really knew how to spell P90X back then anyway. All we had was Power 90 and Slim and 6 and Turbo Jam. But we didn't have Insanity. Like I said, P90X had just really come out, and the first iteration of the infomercials didn't produce anything. It wasn't until they actually got to the second or third, iteration of it that actually started to gain traction. It really wasn't until Sheryl Crow went on that red carpet at the Grammys and they said, "You look great. What are you doing?" She goes, "I'm doing this at-home workout called P90X," and then it just blew up from there. But anyway, to go back. They had the infomercial side sewn up, and they were selling the products. But what was happening was, really, out of all those people that were buying the programs, less than 10% of the people were actually committing to it and following through. The other percentage were, because they were doing it at a late night drunken stupor and ordered it or something. When it came in, they just said, "I didn't order this," and they declined the shipment. Or they got it in, and the 2 weeks it took for them to get to them, they had lost their gumption, got in, and said, "I don't want to do this," and sent it back. Or people that actually got it off the truck, actually accepted it, but never opened the box. Or those people that opened the box, watched the first Ab Ripper X video, said, "Screw this," put it on the shelf, and it collected dust. So there wasn't that accountability. They didn't have the support, the people to sit there and help them manage their way through this three-phase program known as P90X. And not to mention Power 90 or any of the other ones, okay? So that's why they came up with a coaching opportunity. And they wanted to make this where it was peer-to-peer coaching. Yes, it gives you another distribution channel, but more importantly, and why we were created wasn't so we could just be a bunch of salespeople going out and hawking our wares to any and everybody that we know. It was so that we could truly support people so that they could achieve their goals and lead healthy, more fulfilling lives. That was what the mission was. And when we went through this founders meeting, that was important to us because there was only a small handful of us, like 14 of us, that came from the message boards that had the prior success with the workout programs and stuff. The rest of them were like the top 0.1% in network marketing. And it's because we needed business people to help get this business off the ground. And so we had to make sure those 14 of us went through and handpicked which business people we actually wanted in this business. There's like 200 people in that room, but we only chose, I think, 27 others that came from the business side, because we had to make sure the culture of Beachbody did not get lost because of the business. And so I say that to say that's how I got involved in the business. Again, like I said, I like to talk. That's how I got involved in the business. And since then, we've been able to do some really, really cool things. Been doing it, like I said, since December 26, 2006. So I'm going on 11 years as a Team Beachbody coach. I was able to walk away from my paramedic job, and I'll get into that further on later on down the line, but I was able to walk away from that job in October of 2007. Okay, less than a year into this business. I've been on the coach advisory board. I've a superstar diamond. I have 60,000 people on my team. I've had the pleasure of working with multiple million club earners, people who have made $1 million in this business, multiple six figures in this business. My wife and I have been able to enjoy doing those things too. But the thing that I'm most proud about with all of that is that I've been able to be at home with my wife, who is a very successful Beachbody coach, Team Beachbody coach in her own right, multiple six-figure income earner. She doesn't need me around, but able to hang out with her, and then able to be with my boys and watch them grow up. I mean, my youngest son is 13. He was just with us at dinner, and he's an athlete. He's in the 8th grade right now, and I get to be present at every football game. I announce his football games. I'll score his basketball games. I'm there at everything. And my oldest son just signed his national letter of intent to play for Angelo State University in San Angelo on a baseball scholarship. And so I've had the pleasure of being along for that ride, being present to help them reach those goals that they have. Because to me, that was not something that I ever had growing up. I never once threw a football with my father. I never once threw a baseball with my father. He came to two of my, in over 20 years in sports, he only came to 2 games of mine. Okay. He wasn't there when I got up in the morning. He wasn't there when I went to bed at night. And there was times he wasn't there at night anyway. And, so he was never around. So I knew that if I was going to call myself a true success, it was to be the exact opposite of what he was. And the only way that I was going to get to do that, because I was a firefighter and paramedic, I worked 24 on, 48 off. And then when I was a paramedic at the hospital, I worked nights, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So I didn't get to put my kids to bed. And I wasn't home before they were on the bus going to school the next morning. And when I got home, I had to sleep. And then I may get like an hour with them in the afternoon before I had to start getting ready to go and do it all over again when I worked the night shift. So that being said, I could see myself starting to become what my father was. And I prayed, I hit my knees so many times saying, God, just give me something to get out of this. I don't want to be like this. And this came about. And this has been the vehicle that has allowed me and allowed my wife to be so present with our kids. And I'm not telling you this to blow myself up and say, look at me, look what I've been able to accomplish. That's not what this is about. Hopefully, and through this mastermind training, through the things that I'm going to talk to you guys about, and the stories that I'm going to tell, and the stories I'm going to share, I hope that gives you a glimmer not only into what's possible for you, but it doesn't take but just minor tweaks here and there to really get the most out of life. So when I'm on here and I'm talking, and I'm going to treat you guys like adult business people. Do I have the permission to do that? Okay. Because I don't want to, I'm not going to come in here and I told Greg this, I'm not going to come in here and rah rah sis boom ba and go team Beachbody go and gosh darn it, let's do it, that type of stuff, because that's not what I'm about. Okay? I'm not going to come on here and I'm not going to tell you about the compensation plan. I'm not going to tell you about policies and procedures. I'm not going to tell you how to recruit a coach. I'm not going to talk to you about any of our workout programs or any product in any of our supplements. That's not what this is about. Because how I really grew in this business, when I went from someone who was doing okay, I say okay compared to who I am now, I was making over $100,000 a year in this business. So I was doing good. But it wasn't until I started making subtle changes in who I was when my business really mushroomed and it became complete. And I really started to enjoy true success. And that's what we're going to work on with you guys. I'm going to hit you hard with, I'm not going to be a jerk, but I'm going to hit you hard with some gospel as far as you got to change yourself before you can ever think you can change anything else. You got to work on who you are from the inside before anything on the outside changes for the better. You got to start really delving deep into who you are and what you want out of life and what you're willing to go through in order to get it. You got to start doing that, because so many of us look into this Beachbody. The colors on Beachbody are perfect because they're blue and it looks like a pool, okay? It's like pool water blue. And we have so many people that just barely dip their stinking toe into that pool water blue of Team Beachbody. They just start testing the water to see if they're going to sign up as a coach, sell 2 challenge packs and buy a Ferrari or whatever it might be. Or they get their workout program or Beachbody on Demand or whatever, and they watch the first 2, modify 80% of it and think they're going to have 6-pack abs and sub 10% body fat and no diabetes and all this stuff because they have great intentions. It doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. Your relationship with your spouse, if you're married, doesn't work that way. Your significant other, your relationship with your kids doesn't work that way. You have to be fully committed. You have to, as they say, you have to burn the boats. There's no turning back into this. And so I'm going to treat you guys like adults. I'm going to treat you like business people. We're going to talk about business stuff, but from a different point of view. Okay? We're gonna dive deep into what makes you tick and what should make you tick. I may rub some of you guys and kind of open up a scab or a wound or something. And I don't mean that to be malicious, but I can't stand her, maybe as a person sometimes, but Jillian Michaels from Biggest Loser. I thought she was a bitch, and she was. I mean, she was rude. It's all editing, but I really thought she was. But the best thing that she did when she got in those people's faces, which, by the way, people love Biggest Loser, think it's inspirational. I'm sorry, if I can work out 10 hours a day, burn 6,000 calories, and only taking 300 calories, I'm losing some freaking weight too. Just saying. It's just that so many people get off on that, and they get pissed off when the scale doesn't drop 20 points in a day. I think it's BS. Anyway, I digress. I told you I like to talk. But one thing she always did, and she always waited till they were about to fall off a freaking treadmill and their tongues hanging out and they got vomit all over their shirt or whatever. She always used to pick some scab. There's a reason why you are here. I want to lose weight. No, not here. There's a reason why you are here. There's a reason why you're at the point in your life that you have to see this Biggest Loser contest as the only solution. You got here somehow. You were either injured emotionally, physically, psychologically, spiritually. Something happened from the inside out that caused you to look like this. And that's the way that it's going to be, and that's the way your life is. That's the way your business is, frankly. If you're not where you want to be, physically, financially, emotionally, spiritually, relationally, if you're not where you want to be, it's because something happened on the inside. Something is literally an anchor for you that is holding you back. And you have to figure out what that is, what that anchor might be, and then cut the freaking rope. And that's what we're going to do. All right? There's going to be times in this period that we're going to go through, and I'm going to ask you to shed tears. Because the only true time that you're going to have true emotional freedom is by letting it go. I did. I cried way too much sometimes. But I had a lot of baggage, I had a lot of stuff I had to get through. Still do. I'm not ashamed to say I go to see a counselor. Used to do it every week. I'm down to like once a month now. So I'm less crazy now than I used to be, but it's still important. But anyway, that being said, that kind of gives you an idea of some of the things we're going to go through. A lot of times I'll follow an outline that I have because I've been through so much training. There's no such thing as original material, by the way. So everything that I train on, I typically stole from somebody else. And I may change a couple of words so I can call it my own. And here's what I ask each and every one of you to do. Take copious notes, because here's the deal. I expect every one of you, I say this, I hope that every one of you will be in my position sometime. And you're leading mastermind groups. And you're taking this training that we're going to go through, and you're going through it with those people. Because that should be your goal, is that you have the opportunity to really make a difference in other people's lives. That's what my prayer is, okay? My prayer is that I'm able to help some of you guys some way get to where you want to go in life, okay? Beachbody is just a vehicle. It's just the vehicle. It's not the life. It's just the way that you can get to where you possibly want to go. So my job and my goal, my hope is that we do that. Now, what's reality? Right now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 11, 15, 19 people on here. Maybe 18 because I thought somebody said their audio wasn't working, so they had to dial in on the phone. One of you may actually do something with this. And that makes me sad. Because what happens with that is that you know the most valuable piece of real estate in the world is, right? I'm sure some of you guys have heard this. Some people say somewhere in Saudi Arabia or in Abu Dhabi where there's oil completely underneath it. No. How about Fort Knox where all the gold is kept? No. How about in Paris, the famous paintings and everything like that? How about no? No. It's usually on the corner or somewhere down the street. It's a cemetery. That's the most valuable piece of property there is anywhere. Why? Because potential died there. Opportunity for growth and to make an impact died there and is in that ground. And I pray that none of you die with something left inside. Whether it be with your kid, because I see Lisa over here with her daughter sitting right next to her. I saw somebody come in and give a kiss a while ago, probably saying night night. To be able to pour into your children, your loved ones, things that you didn't get to experience growing up, or things that are greater than your experience. You may have had just an incredible childhood. And God bless you. You had great parents. I hope you thank them every day for that. But our job as parents, our job is to make the next generation better than we were. To make them better off than we were. To make them better people than we were. To make a bigger difference than we did. That's our job. That's why God put us on earth. He wasn't here to consume stuff, to make money. That's not our job here. Our job here is to make a difference. So, again, statistics show one of y'all is going to actually do something with this, if we're lucky. If you don't, I'm just going to tell you, don't waste the next 6 weeks. Don't waste the time. Go watch. I'm sure there's something good on Wednesday nights on TV. I don't know. I record The Voice and watch it while I'm eating my sandwich, and then I'm done. Or if it's sports, I watch it with my kids. But other than that, I just don't have an interest in it. So that's what this is about. Cool? Thumbs up because you're all muted if we're cool with that. All right. If you think I'm an a-hole, let me know. I'm a big kid. I'll tell you to pound sand, but hey, it is what it is. All right. So with all that out of the way, and we're almost 30 minutes into this, and I said it was going to be a short call. Sorry, I'm buying my son a new car tomorrow, and he wants me to send pictures. I told him if he got a scholarship somewhere, I'd buy him whatever car he wants. So he wants a new Mustang. I don't know how smart that is. But it's cheaper. It's cheaper in college. He's getting his college paid for. I'll pay for the car. But anyway. So really good quote out there by Mark Twain says, the two most important days in your life, the day that you're born and the day you find out why. That's what we're going to do. All right. Your why is defined as the overwhelming principle that drives everything that you do. Okay? It's the reason why you get out of bed. It's the reason why you take a breath. It's the reason why your heart beats. Your why is what does that. It is the driving principle behind who you are. Without a why, you are a wandering generality. Okay? We don't want to be wandering generalities. We want to be heat-sinking missiles that have a mission, that have a vision of where we're wanting to go, and we're going towards it, no matter what. And as I said earlier, we can't turn back because we're burning the boats. So we are just going forward, and so we have got to figure out what forward is. So many people, well, you've heard this, so many people go on vacation, and they spend more time on planning their vacation than they do planning their lives. Think of it this way. Just think if you went up to the ticket counter at the airport and you went straight up to the person and go, "I'm ready, let's go." And she goes, "Where would you like to go?" "I don't know, but I'm ready. Let me buy a ticket." That's basically how so many people run their lives. They run their lives without knowing, where's my destination? But how do you know how you can get somewhere if you don't even know where you're going? It's like GPS is useless. It's like just watching it so you can see the road go by, but you didn't put a destination address in there. So it can't guide you. No amount of training in Team Beachbody, no amount of training in life is going to help you if you don't know where you're going. Okay? And what's going to keep you going. So one of the things that the first assignment that we're going to do here with this group is I want to know what your why is. Okay, so what does that mean? What does a why mean? Okay? And Brian, you and Lisa, and Greg, you may have already done this. Do it again. Your why's changed in the last year. Okay? Your why is a fluid thing. Your why changes. So this is what we're going to do. I want you to go through and I want you to sit and meditate on what the hell you live for. Okay? Who you live for. Why you live for them. What powers you. Okay? Now, this may be easy for some, but if you're like me, it's extremely difficult. Okay? Take time to really think about why you want something different. Why do you want this to be a success? Because, guys, your why is going to be what powers you through the tough times. And there will be tough times. Our company's kind of going through them right now. Okay? I'm not going to sugarcoat that. You guys have been doing this for long enough. I'm sure if you're a brand new coach, you'll realize your company is kind of going through lower volume times. It's still blowing stuff out of the water. We're still doing great financially. It's just not falling out of trees like it used to. Okay? We actually have to kind of do a little bit of work. But that being said, there are going to be tough times. There's going to be times people look you dead straight in the face and you're trying to help them out and tell you to go fly a kite. And they're the people typically that are the closest to you. And so when that happens and you don't have a strong why, you want to run off and hide and stop because it's too hard and it's not worth it. So I want to know your why, but most importantly, I want you to know your why. And unless you take time and write that out on a piece of paper, then it's just a pipe dream. It's just an idea. Okay? So I want to know what drives you. Why do you want to be successful? Is it your kids? Okay, what do you want with your kids? Okay? What is it that they don't have now that you want there to be? My why? I used to think it was so, I could, give my family a good life and all this other stuff, and that's not a why. That's crap. You know what? And it became the biggest epiphany to me when I was telling my story in front of a group up at one of Greg's events. When I finally bared it all, man, and said, I got a huge ass daddy wound that I'm not going to give my kids. And I told about how big of a creep my dad was. and how he was never there, and how he was a raging alcoholic and an adulterer and did all this other stuff and bankrupted my mom and split, basically stayed with her till I was old enough where he wouldn't have to pay child support. And then he took off as quickly as possible. As soon as their divorce was finalized, an hour and a half later, he was married again. And the beautiful thing about that is he hates her now too, but he's too cowardly to leave her because I think she'll kill him. But anyway, that wasn't going to be my kids that are up there on a stage saying those types of things. So you want to know why I drove so hard? So that I could be a stay-at-home dad? That was why. And because I wanted my kids to see what could happen if you really worked on yourself, set goals, and got busy. I wanted to instill that. And I think I've done a pretty good job because I've got a son who's probably going to play in the major leagues. And I got another son who can, even though he doesn't give himself credit, he's brilliant. He's an amazing athlete, but he's humble and got an amazing heart. Filled shoeboxes. If you look on my wife's Facebook page, was filling shoeboxes for Operation Christmas Child today with a group of his friends. What 13-year-old does that? Doesn't have to be forced to do it. So I think I've done a pretty good job of not being like my father. So, but that's really been my why and what's driven me more than anything. Now, there have been certain offshoots off of that have helped me, like when I was able to be next to my mom last year as she passed away, was able to support her, pay for all of her expenses and everything like that, and be with her every day, sit with her all night until the wee hours of the morning when she was in a coma, and held her hand as she took her last breath. I was able to do that. Neither of my brothers were, because they had jobs. But I was able to be there with her. And as painful as that was, it was beautiful at the same time, because it allowed me to realize what I've got is pretty stinking. It's pretty special. And I'm reaping the rewards of the hard work that I've had over the past 11 years. So that being said, what's yours? What's your why? What's going to power you when your feet hit the floor in the morning? Why do they? Please don't come back with me and say, I just like to help people. That's a bullshit answer. Go help somebody cross the street and you've accomplished your why. I'm sorry if there's Lisa, if your daughter's right next to you, I apologize. You guys cuss like sailors up there anyway. But I mean, it's more than that. Your love for helping people, the first minute somebody doesn't, they leave your team, or you've been talking with them and they sign with another coach, that helping people stuff goes out the window. When somebody doesn't buy a challenge pack from you, even though they've been biting off your Facebook groups for the last 2 years, and you're pissed and you missed Success Club because of it, that helping people thing flies out the window. That moment that something happens, that helping people flies out the window. There's got to be something more than that. It's got to be more about you, because that's why this is going to work, is whether you are achieving your why. And then what we will do later on is, based upon this why, we're going to formulate your vision. Okay? Because we need to know where you want to go. The why is the fuel in the tank to get you there. Team Beachbody and what we're talking about, actually, just take Team Beachbody equation, what we're going to go through here. This is going to be the vehicle that's going to help you get there, but your vision is the destination. So that's what we're going to work on. We're going to hit little spots here and there. There'll be homework typically every time. What I ask you to do is, on the page, you can either, it just depends on if you feel free sharing. I love sharing. Would love it if you recorded this, read your why off of your page, off of your sheet of paper, videoed it, because there's going to be times when you go back and have to talk to yourself, and a video is a good way to talk to yourself. But that way also we get the feeling on if it's real or not. And so I'd love it if you'd video yourself. Now, you can choose to do it on YouTube and do it privately and then send Greg and I a copy of the link and we can watch it. Or if you're feeling froggy, post it to the Mastermind training page and share. Because here's the deal. The reason why I want to know, the reason why Greg should know, first of all, Greg is your leader. Greg is the person. Greg is a completely different person than I met back 18 years ago. I'm looking at him going, he's going to be a good coach? Really? Because he'd be like, hi, how you doing? You know, I mean, couldn't look you in the eye, real meek, big guy, and then like he like blossomed into this badass. And I'm like, who is this dude? And I love it. And I love it. It doesn't take no for an answer. And I don't mean he's not pushy, but he's just like, if that bonehead up there can do this, I'm like Einstein compared to this jackwad. I mean, and he's talking about me. And so he's like, I can freaking crush it too. And he has. He's freaking crushed it. And what he's seen in each and every one of you is something special, because he could have left you off of a list. He's going to be successful with or without you. Let me just say that. Okay? He's going to experience. That's just who he is. That's the type of guy he is. That's the type of leader he is. He's going to be successful with or without you. He could have left you off the list, or he could have asked somebody else, but he saw something special in every one of y'all. And that's why you're here. Okay? That specialness, if that's a word, will be contagious among this group if you allow it to be. So, that being said, do this assignment, be active in the group in the interim. We'll come together on Wednesday nights. We'll go through some of the things that we saw. Okay? Here's my thing about also sharing your stories and sharing your whys, is because unless you have a compelling, you may not have a story that somebody else can identify with, but typically somebody within this group has a story that somebody can identify with. I can't identify with a mom of a young daughter because I got 2 boys and I'm not a mom. So I can't identify with that, but I can talk about Lisa. Okay. I don't know what it's like to be a young 20-something female, but I can talk about Christine. I don't know what it's like to be a genius computer guy, but I can talk about Greg. So I can go through that all day long. So that for you guys that's why I think it's important if you do share in this group. Plus it puts it out to the universe. And you got to accomplish it now, because if you go back on it, we're all going to make fun of you and send bad postcards to your house. So anyway, we can unmute Greg if you want to. And I can answer some questions. We're 40 minutes into this, and I said it wasn't going to be that long. So if there are any questions before we go for the night, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Well, I have one. Is your plan to meet next week, Thanksgiving week, or skip it? Or, you know?
What do y'all think? I'm in town. My son's got football practice all week long. We're in state playoffs, and so I'll be at the ranch. I can always do it at the ranch. So, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm going out of town.
Screw you then. All right, you get 2 weeks to work on this assignment, but don't wait to the last minute, dadgummit. I may come up with something in the interim to keep you going. So, or Greg will. I'll make him come up with an assignment. Watch 4 Joel Osteens. Let's think. Yeah. So let's do go 2 weeks from this week and from today. And that way, because, I don't want to give anybody an excuse not to be here.
Okay.
Anybody else? They're all on mute. So
You guys can take yourself off mute and ask Robert a question.
Sweet. I'm brilliant. Nobody has questions. Awesome.
Aren't you afraid?
You ain't seen nothing. You're afraid of the answer. Joe's stepping up. Oh, Joe unmuted for a second, then muted himself back.
Wow.
No. I see. All right. Cool. All right. This is fun. I mean, one of the things you'll find as you start to mentor people more and more is how it refuels you. Okay. How you get so much out of it. When you pour into other people, it's like Zig Ziglar says, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll have everything that you want. When you mentor enough people, when you help enough people, it fills your soul, and it truly, you get something in return. And that's the only reason I do this, frankly. I mean, yes, I want you guys to be financially successful. I want you guys to go crush it. I want you to make more money than I ever have in this business. I'm sorry. You know why? Money's not everything, but it's right up there with oxygen. I mean, I'm sorry. Money is not the root of all evil. It's not the root of all evil. All right. I've read the Bible multiple times. Nowhere in there does it say that money is cause of sin. It's not. It's the love of money that is. Now, I don't love it. I like it a lot, but I don't love it, because here's what money allows me to do. Whatever the hell I want. So it allows me to sit here and talk to you guys instead of already being in bed or being at the hospital because I'm working the night shift. Money allows me to get my son the car that he's always wanted because he just got a scholarship. Money allows me to live in a house, and it's not stupid, ridiculous big, but allows me to live in a nice house in a nice area with great schools. So my kids have great schools to grow up in. Money allows me to diversify and to have other assets outside of Team Beachbody to keep me interested. Money allows me to save for the future, to pass it on to my kids, to create a legacy. Because we didn't have it growing up. We had it for a little while, and then it went bye-bye. So I've been through doing well, and I've been through hiding behind couches because constables and collectors were knocking at the door trying to serve papers because your parents couldn't pay their bills. I've been through that. So, so with that being said, I want you guys to experience what it's like to have true success. And the only way that you're going to have true success in this is if we bring something out from the inside. And then guess what you get to do with that? Once we bring that in out from the inside, you get to go pour that upon other people. And that's called mentoring. And that's where true success happens. So buckle up, buttercups. It's going to be a fun ride. Take some time. Look at your whys. Read it to yourself. Read it to your spouse, your girl, your significant other, your orange cat, whatever. Then read it to us. And I look forward to hearing those, because I look forward to being inspired and watching this journey unfold. All right. Sound bueno?
All right. Thanks, Robert.
Hey, you bet, guys. God bless. See y'all in 2 weeks. Take care.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You bet. You too.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.